touchy. Arturia just updated the MicroFreak synthesizer and added 3 new oscillator modes by noise engineering. In today's video, I'll show you the new oscillators as well as the other improvements of the firmware update. Let's dive in. Version 3 of the MicroFreak firmware is fresh out and it comes with 3 new oscillator modes. Bass, SAWX and Harm originate from Noise Engineering's Verteater. The Eurorack module has been announced at last year's NAMM, but it's not available yet, so MicroFreak owners will be among the first to get their hands on these new oscillators. An important note, Verteater is a stereophonic module, while MicroFreak only has mono outputs, so the oscillators are not identical on both platforms, but have been specially ported for the MicroFreak. Now let's take a closer look at the new modes. The first one is bass. Bass is a so-called quadrature oscillator. This type of circuit combines 2 sine waves with a 90-degree phase difference between them. With all 3 oscillator controls at 0, you can hear and see it's almost a sine wave, but it has this little additional dent from the second oscillator. Saturate controls the saturation of the second or cosinus oscillator, which adds overtones and leads to a more rectangular waveform that sounds sharper. Fold adds additional harmonics with a 2-stage asymmetric fold, which gives the sound even more bite. And finally, the third control is noise. As far as I understand, the noise is not just mixed into the audio path, but it's used to phase modulate the 2 oscillators. As you can hear, the sound gets really gritty and texturized. Now, to get an idea of the sonic palette that the bass oscillator covers, I'll play a selection of presets. I selected them from the 96 new presets that come with the firmware update. I have added a few effects like chorus, reverb or delay here and there to make the sounds shine, but nothing that fundamentally changes the tone of the oscillators. As the name suggests, bass works great on low-end sounds. But the oscillator is not limited to bass, it can also do great leads or keys. I also found bass very useful for vaporwave, lo-fi type of sounds like this pad that I created. The second new oscillator mode is SAWX. SAWX is a sawtooth wave that is modulated with white noise and enhanced by chorus. The first control is called SAW mod and it sets the gain of the so-called modulus stage. And for me, it sounds like it shifts the frequency and it kind of reminds me of a oscillator sync type of effect. Shape sets the chorus amount, effectively doubling the wave, and sonically it reminds me of a supersaw. And again, noise sets the amount of phase modulation by white noise. SAWX can create very sharp and bright sounds, and it sometimes reminds me of a plucked string. I think it works especially well on keys or lead sounds. But it's also good for bass sounds. And pads. The third new oscillator is Harm. Harm creates waveforms by adding harmonics to a fundamental frequency. Spread sets the relation of partials from unison at 0 to an octave at max. The second control adjusts the rectification of the partials. Arturia described it as sort of a half fold. And the third control adds a phase modulated noise and sets the master clip level. I think Harm works especially great for atmospheric pads. But it also does leads, keys and organs. So these are the 3 new oscillator modes of MicroFreak. Another improvement the firmware update adds is that 4-voice unison is now available in all oscillator modes. Press paraphonic while holding the shift button to activate unison mode. In the preset settings, you can select a unison voice count between 2 and 4 and a unison spread up to 12 semitones. Unison spread can also be assigned as a modulation destination in the mod matrix, so you can automate it. These are the main features of the new firmware version. It's out today and it's free, so all you need to do to get the new oscillator modes is update your MicroFreak. Leave a comment and let me know how you like the new oscillator modes and which features you would like to see added to MicroFreak next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay safe and see you in the next video.